Good evening, Mr. President. Welcome to my new show, Glen's Nocturnal News Nation.
Hi Glen, please call me Barry. This looks like Dave's old set.
Yes, I'm borrowing the set until CBS determines if my show will survive long enough to make an investment in some new furniture.
I know what you mean. Can I smoke a few Newports between segments, Glen?
I'm sorry, but we don't have segments here. Thank you, Barry, for agreeing to come on this evening to talk to me about the recent attempts at additional federal gun control.
I never wanted to touch gun control. The Republicans are coming at me on the budget. The Catholic Church, the Mormons, and the Evangelicals are coming at me for trying to force them to pay for abortions, sterilization, and artificial birth control, plus the homosexual marriage fiasco is bound to explode at some point. The last thing I needed was to have my scrawny backside ground up in a fight over guns. If I blow this, I'll be a lame duck with 3.5 years to go.
Then why did you put the office of the president behind pushing for more gun control after the Sandy Hook massacre? Why are you, Bloomberg, and your cohorts standing on the graves of those killed in Newtown?
Because some of my constituents demanded it. They still believe that banning assault weapons and clips and setting up a national registry of all guns will somehow reduce crime.
Modern sporting rifles, not assault weapons. Magazines, not clips. Please be honest and accurate in what you say as president.
What? I'm sorry. I'm a little lost without my teleprompter. These magazine clips are ammunition, they are bullets. They are going to shoot them. The number will decrease dramatically because the bullets will have been shot and there won't be any more available. Didn't you listen to Dingbat Diana's diatribe?
Are you serious? What are you talking about? Never mind.
My advisors also felt that gun control would be a good diversion away from the controversy on the budget, on the HHS abortion mandate, on the Fast and Furious scandal, and the silly notion of homosexual marriage.
It didn't work, did it?
Not as we hoped, no. At least not yet.
What did you think of Gabby Gifford's husband trying to buy an IR-15 pattern rifle?
Mark Kelly is an embarrassment. He does know how to turn a buck through his new gun control organization, however. It will be a great side business for he and Gabby.
What have been your biggest missteps in your opinion?
Putting that bozo Biden in charge, and allowing that ignorant, arrogant and burned-out Feinstein to lead the charge on the assault weapons ban. What a clueless and old tool she is. I think her brain has a huge loophole in it.
I agree. Did you see Senator Ted Cruz tear up Feinstein over the Second Amendment?
That was painful to watch. She is about 20 years past her shelf life. At least 20 years, maybe more. She was never worth a damn even in her prime.
Now Mr. 32-ounce Michael Bloomberg is getting involved. He's willing to spend $12 million of his own money to ensure the gun control bill passes. Do you welcome Mr. Bloomberg's entrance into the fray?
Not really. He's a man with a fat wallet, an even fatter ego, but obviously not much between his legs. His new group, known as Illegal Mayors Against Guns, seems to be made up of violent perverts, some with criminal records. He also has a short man's complex, but he is rich, so we don't cast him aside.
Do you honestly think gun control will work?
Are you kidding? I might be greedy and evil, but I'm not stupid. Just look at Chicago. We piled on the gun control laws there, and look what's happening. Murder capital of America.
We had a federal ban on so-called assault weapons from 1994 to 2004. 10 years. At the end of this experiment, the U.S. Department of Justice formally concluded in a report that lowered crime could not be attributed to the ban. What do you make of that?
I have not seen the report. I'll have Jay Carney get back to you.
You have not seen the report? Never mind.
Gun control won't work. We both know that. We will need to actually ban and then confiscate guns in the USA. We need to be just like Europe.
Are you serious? Do you really think you could get away with banning and confiscating firearms in the USA?
Of course. First, We will create a federal firearms registry under the guise of a so-called universal background check system. Then we will collect all the data for private transactions.
I cannot believe you are speaking so candidly about this. This is so un-American.
That's nothing. Then I will override the Gun Owners Protection Act law, which currently prevents the federal government from collecting and retaining current firearms sales data. Once I override this protection with an executive order, we'll begin databasing all firearms transactions.
My God, talk about Big Brother. How can you be so cavalier about something so intrusive into U.S. citizens' lives? This is not the former Soviet Union. This is not Cuba. We have a constitution and a Bill of Rights.
Then I will pass a second executive order outlawing everything but single-shot pistols, rifles and shotguns. That's when confiscation will begin.
Do you think Americans will actually turn over their firearms? We're not Europeans, you know. We don't abide any of the UN silliness that's going on right now.
They won't have any choice. We'll go door to door, if we have to. We'll break out the ground-penetrating radar. We don't need no stinking search warrants. To hell with the Fourth Amendment.
From our cold dead hands, right?
If that's what it takes. However, I suspect most will readily turn in their guns when things really get hot.
This is just unbelievable. In 1989, California passed its Assault Weapons Control Act. If you owned a modern sporting rifle that was on the list, you were required to register it. It's estimated that less than 5% were ever registered. Do you honestly believe you can strip Americans of their guns?
I'll get the guns. Why do you care? I will still allow single-shot firearms. You can still go hunting.
The Second Amendment is not about hunting.
One shot is more than enough for self-defense too.
How many bullets do the guns hold that are carried by your personal bodyguards?
Don't you dare bring my daughters into this. That is way out of bounds. One bullet is enough for you.
Pardon me? Never mind. Why does the military and law enforcement carry Glocks and SIGs that hold 17 rounds and IR-15 pattern rifles that use 30-round magazines?
Don't get technical with me, Glen. One bullet is enough to defend yourself and your family.
If you're so hot to ban guns, why don't you do the honest and honorable thing and try to repeal the Second Amendment?
We both know that the American people would never repeal or even amend the Second Amendment, even though it's obsolete in today's world, in my world. That's why I am going to allow for single-shot firearms. You can keep your muskets. That should be enough to keep the Supreme Court happy.
That's bull and you know it.
The last thing I want to do is get actual voters involved. I'm currently stacking the U.S. Supreme Court, and you'll be amazed at what I will get done through activist Supreme Court justices.
I can't believe you have yet to suggest tonight that the Founding Fathers who framed the Constitution could never have foreseen firearms like the M16 and the fully automatic AK-47. That's your old pseudo-argument, isn't it?
The Constitution is nothing more than an archaic document that does nothing but impede my wonderful ideas.
Do you even care about the safety of U.S. citizens? Do you ever worry about the single mother and her children living on the south side of Chicago struggling just to survive? Or the family living in a country 30 minutes from all law enforcement? Do you ever worry about their security, their right to defend themselves? Or is this just all about politics for you?
Sometimes people have to die over their convictions. Gun control is one such conviction.
That's just it. People who want the freedom to protect themselves and their families reject gun control. It's not their conviction.
I guess I should have said that sometimes other people have to die to protect my own convictions, or at least those of some of my constituents.
You make me ill, Mr. Obama. I cannot believe you are the President of the United States.
Pardon me, Glenn, but I need a new part. Good night.